How we doing, guys? Welcome to All the Gear, No Idea. And today I'm in my back garden and I'm actually going to be teaching you on how I'm going to set my rods up today. So I'm going fishing tomorrow, which is Thursday. I'm having a day session down on the canal. It's just going to be myself. I'm going to set two up for pike, one ledger, one float. I'm also going to set another one up on carp, barbel, tench, bream, all that side of things, and I'm going to set that rod up as well. So for these I'm going to need 2 reels of £90 braid and 1 reel of £10 line. So that's the £10 line, £90 braid. You can see the difference. Braid's quite strong and it's quite like string. I don't know if you can tell, but it's hard wearing, whereas £10 line you can snap it with your hands. Going to £10 line, because I think that's quite strong enough. It says £10, but I reckon you could handle an £18 if you play it right on it. Nice carp, nice tench, bream as well, all them types of things. So what we'll do is we'll get cracking with the video. First off, obviously get your reels out, get them all set up to what you need. The second thing, get your rods. So, got my rod here. So these are Shimano TX2 50mm butt rings, and these are £3 test curve. So these are mine, and all you do is clip them together. Bosh. So there's my rod. Always make sure that your eyes are all in line. And when I say your eyes are all in line, they basically, if I bring that across here, you want to see every one of your circles that are all in. So just eye them through and make sure they're nice and straight. So once that one's done, put your reel on. So first off, we're going to set this one up, which is the £10 line carp, tench, bream one, coarse fishing rod. So I'm setting them all up ready for tomorrow. And basically I'm going to show you how you collapse them all down. So they've got a clip here on my rods, sorry. Got a clip there, which I'll attach on my line too, and it will stop it basically from opening itself out. And then I can just take my rods with me down to the canal. Don't need to carry a rod bag, don't need to carry anything. As soon as I get down there, whip my rods out straight away, done. Right, so some reels are different, some are bait runners. These just pull and you can hear it go. So line your eye through, all the way through, and keep going through every single one of your eyes. If you miss an eye, you're going to have to go back and do it. If you miss an eye, the reason why is you have to go back, and don't think, oh fuck it, it'll do without it. No, need to do it. What will happen is you'll split your rod. You can damage your rod, you can damage your eyes. Your eyes are the most important piece on your rod really, that you don't want to do. So now that that's all done, I'm going to tighten that back up nice and tight. I'm going to just check, yeah, so you can see the end of my rod. I'm going to pull it, there we go. So jobs are good in there. So the next thing is obviously I need to start getting my bits and pieces together on how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do this as a ledger. So I've got my line here, as you can see. I'm going to grab now. I like these. Now a lot of people sometimes won't use these when they're coming to carping. They use feeders and method feeders and all this sort of stuff. I prefer a fixed stem. And that's all it is. It's a piece of polystyrene at the end with a loop. Comes down to a clasp where your weight goes on. Okay, so we thread that on the line first. There you go, on. Yeah, you can see that it's on the line. Next is we got one of the plastic caps. So one of these, literally, it's a buffer sort of thing, stops it from hitting your swivels. So that will go on. That's on, yeah, you can see that's just gone down. Next thing I'm going to do is get my swivel. Now people use different types of swivels, all sorts of swivels, whatever they want to use, it's up to them. My technique is I use a quick release swivel. So all it is it's swivel, and on the end of it, there you go, it's got a quick release, so it's spin swivel sort of thing. So I'll bob that on. Now when it comes to this, I tie 8 times, so go around your string 8 times. So count there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now, as you can see, I've got a loop right down near these 2 fingers here. There's my loop. I'm going to go through there with the string, with my line, shall I say. And what I've done is I've created another loop here, and I'm going to go back through that same loop, like so. You can't really see it. I'm trying to get you a good vision on it, but I've gone back through. And all you do is you pull it. Now, you ready? Once I pull that down, nothing is getting off of that line now. That's all done. There we go. Whole lot of it's done. Now that wants to go push right down to make sure it's tight. And with your excess line, didn't know whether that me hair or my beard or my line. There you go. So I've trimmed it off now, as you can see there. Always wet the line as well whenever you do it. Just makes that knot stronger and tighter. So I've got the black buffer stop now, and that literally is going to get pushed on over that swivel. So there you go. So now when I come down with this, and this keeps falling and flowing up and down, when I let go of this, see how it hits that, and it will not go over this. It can't go anywhere. Look. Yeah, it stops there. So it means it's going to stop it smashing my swivel, stop it smashing my hooks and things like that. So now obviously what I need to do is attach on my line. And it's simply, what I've got here is a hair rig, size 6 hook, 16mm pink boiler. There we go. I'm just going to slide that on. So that's going to go on. Now, I'm not going to bother putting a weight on tonight. Now, the reason why I'm not going to bother putting a weight on tonight is because if I put one on, it could actually end up damaging my rods and things like that. So there we go, guys. That is the first setup. And all I will do tomorrow is just attach my weight onto here. Now, I usually use like a 2.5, 3 pound, 2.5, 3, yeah, 3 pound weight. And that's all that will go on the end there. Once that's clipped up, that's ready to throw straight out. Make a PVA bag up, make some bait up, you're away. Now, to break it down, I get the size 6 hook, and I'm literally going to clip it into my first eye here, like so. Yeah, so it's out there like that. And then I'm going to reel it in. There we go. It's gone down. Then guys, it's going to be the same technique. I've got my fixed stem ledger, but this is going to be a same one basically, but for a pike. Now the only difference between the carp and the pike is that it's going to have a treble instead of. Oh, you bastard! A treble instead of a single size 6 hook on a hair rig. So braid's a lot more thicker than line, as most people will know when it comes to fishing, so it's a bit more difficult to try and get through these little tiny holes. So I've lined it all up through my rod. I put my my fixed stem ledger on. I'm just trying to get this through this line, which I've think. Give me 1 second. So, on back up. If you're ever struggling to get things through holes, these things are absolutely ideal. So they're called a baiting needle. And a baiting needle, what you can do is you can push it all the way through the actual hole itself, and that will free anything that's in its way. Literally get your line, hook your line round onto your baiting needle and push that back up. Apart from then, you've got to do it the right way. Sorry about that, folks. So push it on, make sure you do your thin end first, that on, and then push your baiting needle up. That way you go onto the lines, you've got your line there, keep pulling your line, keep pulling your line, unhook it, and you can pull your line, the other line, all the way through, and that's on. Next thing, of course, is obviously attaching your swivel again. So round 8 times, and then go back through the same hole that you did before, as shown in your other video. That one's got line on it still. So, eye, through the eye, out, 8 times. Do this quite quickly. Through the hole. And through the hole again that it came from. Pull that down, pull that tight, pull it tight. There we go. Job's a good one. Nothing is coming off of that again. So with this now, that's all attached. That's all done. My braid's on there nice and tight, as you can see. That is solid. So now all I'm going to do is grab that black bumper stop, bring it down. There's the swivel. As you can see, it's all on show. And when I push it, only the top bit is the quick release, protecting the swivel. That, my friend, is how we do it that way. Now I've got all my line caught around this. That is how we do it. Now, the difference is, as I said before, is we just attach trebles to this. Trebles come in many different sizes, size 6s and size 8s. That can be all linked up tomorrow. This now is going to go on my rod, and that's another rod setup. Last one is going to be the float. And guys, last of all, float rod. So, normal technique, eye your rod through with your line. Again, I've got my line here. Now this is going to be a little bit different instead this time. So there's going to be no fixed stem ledger at all. What you're doing is you're setting a float rod up. So the first thing is what you need is you need 2 stop beads. Stop beads can come on these. As you can see here, I've got all my stop beads there. You can use 1 or you can use 2. I tend to use 2, and I use quite the big ones as well. So on these, they have metal on them, and you can bend that metal out. Basically, I should have done this before I started this video because it would have been a lot easier. It can be quite fiddly, but have I done it? Have I done it? I've not done it. As I say, it can be very fiddly. Get myself through that hole. Well, it nearly went through. There is an easier way to do with this, but there we go. So I've got my line through and my stop beads are on, as you can see right there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to slide 2 stop knots, which is the plastic rubber things that are on there, on. So I'm going to hit it with the first one, and I'm going to hit it with the second one. So as you can see now, look, I've pulled them right up towards my line. I'm going to put the first one up and over. If you keep pulling, there. Now you can see my line showing. Now let's get right up close for this. So second one, grab it and pull it, and there you go. My lines are all the way through now, yeah? So if I pull that first one and keep pulling it up, there we go. So it's there now. It's on our single line. So I'm going to do the same with the second. So pull my line and pull it up. So hold my braid and pull it up. Right, now that, my line has come off now, look. So it's come out from there. Right, with this, as you can see, 2 stop beads. Now I can see that bit of line there, it's got a little bit of a fray in it. So I'm going to push it all the way past that point. And what these do is these stop your float from going any further up. Second thing is what you're going to need is you're going to need your float, which I've got in here. Now, the reason why we do different techniques is because one way might work, one way might not work. Let me bring that camera down slightly. Yeah, as I say, one way might work, another way might work. They both could work, who knows? With a float, basically, is what you're allowing. There's a pike float lot. So you can find these in all different shapes and sizes. You've got big, you've got small. There's a small one, big one. They come in all different shapes and sizes. There's another one, and another one. So these are all of them, okay? Well, the one I'm going to be using today is obviously the baby one. Now, in the top of it, it'll have a hole. In the bottom of it, it'll have a hole. So your technique is basically you're going to thread your line that I have here through that hole. Let's bring it back up. And we're just going to go all the way through. Just keep feeding it through. Keep going and going and going until it pops out the other end, which it has. So there you go. Now, the idea is that now hits that buffer, look. Oh, you can't see. So look, it stops there. Can't go any further, look. Yeah? Hits that buffer every single time. So what that does is that buffer is you can adjust the height of what you want to fish. So if an area is only 2 foot, like this, you can adjust it down. If it's 4 foot, you can adjust it up. Whole point of the buffer. Next thing is what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bead on. Beads come in all different colours and sizes and things like that. Try and find a neutral colour to what you've got. If you can't find a neutral colour, try and find a dark colour. So I've got a black bead. It's got 2 holes on it, and we're going to pop that on now. Black beads through, and that's hit that. So basically what I've got is I've got a black bead, as you can see there. I've got my float, and I've got my 2 buffer beads, which are here. Idea now is I'm going to tie a quick release swivel on. As I say, I always use these, and the reason why I always use quick release swivels is because when you've got a fish and you've hooked it and you're bringing it over, the thing that I can do is I can release every piece of equipment, my rod, my reel, my line that's all dragging all over the place, from just that one area, which is only leaving then the hooks out of the fish's mouth. Now with the hooks only being out of the fish's mouth and not my rod and my reel, it's saving me not being able to trip over it. If you're in a small confined area, it allows you to remove everything out the way of what you're doing and basically not trip and damage your equipment. So that is on now. So now I've got my swivel on. That, boys and girls, is everything all set up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my buffer beads, my stops, whatever you want to call them, all the way very down to the bottom, like so. And then I'm going to get my nice set of trebles. I'm going to find a nice juicy pair. Now I'm going to fish with a size 8, I think, here. Get some big boys on it. So, when I say by trebles come in 2s like this. There you go. So that is ready to go onto my quick release. So as I said, if I've got a fish, the only thing that I can unhook is this. There you go, it's on solid. So when I get a fish, I just quickly untangle it like here, out the fish, that goes with the fish. My whole rod, my reel and everything is all over here, out the way. Doing no harm, not tripping over it. The only thing that's out of the fish's mouth is this. Good little tip. And I learned this off a fisherman off YouTube, Obsession with Angling. I think he was using them at some point. The gear that I use mainly is, that's Pro Pike. I use a lot of Corda stuff, so I'm using the Corda size 6 hooks for my carp and stuff. Use a lot of Pro Pike. My braid is from, I do a lot of my shopping on Angling Direct. I've got the Wedgwood Big Pit 75s, and they come with a lifetime guarantee on them. So yeah, and my rods are Shimano TX2s 3-pound test curve, and they're amazing. That, folks, is another rod all set up, done, completed, 3 rods set up, all ready for tomorrow. So when I get down to the embankment, the only thing I need to do is load my bait on them. Apart from one rod can go straight out. Set my rod pod up, set my bite alarms up, job's a good one. 2 on bite alarm, 1 on float, got the dead bait ready, crack-a-lacking. So I will see you tomorrow on the embankment for a great show. When I said about feeder earlier, there's a feeder. So you pack that full of ground bait and you cast that out. There you go. See you in the morning.